Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Flourish 2019. It's Christina Louise here, your host, and I'm so excited that you decided to invest a little bit of time here today with us because I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite women in the health industry. Her name's Bonnie Giller, and she's going to teach us today how to stop yo-yo dieting, get a body that we love, and get a handle on what we're eating. It's a big, big deal for me and our household. We still struggle with it, so if you struggle with it, be gentle with yourself. Be open-minded today. Bonnie's here to show you a brand new way. Welcome, Bonnie. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us here for Flourish 2019. Super excited to have you with us. How are you feeling?
I am really great. I want to thank you so much for inviting me. This is going to be great. I love talking about what we're going to talk about. I think everybody will really resonate with it, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm excited. So you have, in my opinion, just a totally different way, a revolutionary way of thinking about dieting and food and exercise and fitness and nutrition. How did you evolve? Did you come out of the womb like this? How did you get here? And how exactly does this work?
Well, this did evolve for me. I don't know how far back you want me to go in my story, but I guess I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a taste, if you will, of the fact that I, as a teenager, did dabble in some diets. Wasn't so happy with the way I looked, my body. You know, as a teenager, you're starting to, the boys and the dates and the friends and the cliques and everybody's starting and trying different diets. Even if it's 10, 15 pounds you want to lose, it's that unhappiness and lack of confidence because there's so much pressure put on looks, right? And the physical aspect of people, and before they even get to know them on the inside. And so I dabbled in that, after high school, before I went to college, I went to study abroad, and I was so nervous I was going to put on weight like so many of my friends before me. And I restricted quite a bit actually while I was away, and I came back really having lost quite a bit of weight. My parents were so nervous. They thought I had an eating disorder. They were going to run me around to so many doctors, but I did settle back into home life. I started college and I started to take an interest in nutrition, and I did get healthy again. I renourished myself and got to a better place around my eating and around my food. And in general, I regained some of the weight I had lost and got to a really great place. But really, it gave me such an interest in nutrition. And fast forward, when I got out of college and then I went to grad school to continue my education, I got married, had a baby, but all in that course of that time, I started to say, well, how can I, use my knowledge? I got a first job in a weight loss center, which was the most horrific job ever. Literally, I left, I think it's after 3 weeks, because I was told to yell at people if they didn't, quote unquote, follow the diet, if they cheated. And it was so, there was no gentleness, there was no compassion. And you know what? There wasn't even any education. It was follow this diet. If you want to lose weight, follow this diet and you will lose this weight. And I said, well, I'm not going to do this. This is not what I went to school for. I decided to open my own private practice. And through the years, what I found is that I would create meal plans for clients, whether the client came in for, oh, Bonnie, I want to lose weight, or I have heart disease or diabetes, and the doctor said, lose weight. There was always a meal plan involved. Now, I created wholesome, meal plans that were structured and whole food based. I never demonized foods or anything like that. And, people would meet their goals and it would be great. And then what ended up happening, I get some phone calls back several years after I saw them, Bonnie, I need another meal plan. I need to come back. And I was like, why? Like, what's going on? And that's when I really said, there was this group of individuals that would always regain this weight. And I recognized that they had something in common. And that was a diet mentality. It was the mindset of a dieter. I'm on or I'm off, the black and white thinking. And if they couldn't follow what I set out for them because they went on vacation, or, there's a party, or they just had a really crappy day at work, it was like all bets were off. And so I started researching and I said, there's got to be another way. And that's when I fell into this intuitive eating approach. It's a non-diet approach. And you know what? As I started to learn, I was trained under one of the co-creator of intuitive eating, and I was supervised, and I started to apply this to my life. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm a dieter. Oh my gosh, I have a diet mindset. I recognized in myself that the meal plan that I was following for myself was really a diet. And the question really is like, why? And that's, well, there was restriction going on. There was, my kids would give me and my husband an anniversary cake, and I'd be like, I don't know, should I, shouldn't I, should I have a piece? It was like these decisions back and forth, and over time I said, I was writing every single thing down that I ate and drank before I ate dinner. I'd be like, okay, well, what did I eat today? And so that will entitle me to a certain amount of food at dinner. And that is really a dieter. And so once I applied the principles of intuitive eating into my life and really, really lived it, was I then prepared to bring it to my clients. And that's really where I am today. My practice has totally transformed from doing these meal plans, because meal plans, AKA diet plans, it's just, they don't work. And that's really one big message here, is diets do not work. Short term, okay, maybe they work, but you're measuring working by, did I lose weight or not? They don't work long term. And so there had to be another answer. And you said something very interesting when you asked me this first question, is you said, were you born with this? Here's the thing, like every single one of us are born intuitive eaters. We're born with that ability to be guided by our inner wisdom, but because of many, many different factors, and we can delve into some, but especially the multi-billion, gazillion dollar diet industry, we go further and further away from trusting in our own body's signals. The more we follow food rules and diet plans and what the gurus tell us, we go further and further away from our own body trust. And with the work that I do, it's really helping people give up the diets, but really start to trust themselves on many, many different levels so they can, in fact, get back to the way they were born.
I love that, because I'm all about that in the work that I do. It's just a different arena. And so what are the 3 pillars of intuitive eating? How do we start?
Well, there are 10 principles of intuitive eating. And with these 10 principles of intuitive eating, the first one is reject the diet mentality. And I'll take you through that in just a moment. But with what I call whole body trust, body trust has 3 pillars. So those pillars, the first one is mind trust. The second is hunger trust. And the third is food trust. So the question really is, so how do I get this whole body trust back? The key word here, the whole body trust. How do we get that back? Well, we get that back by utilizing the 10 principles of intuitive eating, plus a few other things that I throw in for good measure. And it's a 5-step process I take my clients through. So with mind trust, for example, mind trust allows you to get back to trusting your own mind, your own thoughts, your own beliefs, versus listening to diet rules. So having mind trust allows you to throw away the diet rules, throw away the restrictions. It allows you to bust through any limiting beliefs that you have, negative messages that you possibly received, which caused you to believe a certain way around your food, your eating, your body. Just bust through this and reject the diet mentality. And when you reject the diet mentality, you really now have that non-diet mindset where you will be able to trust the thoughts and beliefs that you have. Because think about it. It's the thoughts and beliefs that drive the actions. Mm-hmm. So when somebody says, okay, I want to lose weight, I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables, or I'm going to not have any carbs, or whatever rules they come up with, or they're told, well, that action lasts only so long. That conscious action only lasts so long. And then the subconscious belief comes in to take over, which is why most people don't stay on diets forever. Mm-hmm. They go on, they go off. Mm-hmm. So we really need to tackle thoughts and beliefs before we can see change.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you brought that up, because I'll get a little vulnerable here. I've been carrying around up and down throughout my life, but for the most part, carrying extra weight on my body. And I did a little exercise. I found this book, and it had like a quiz. And the deeper you got in the quiz, the more you kind of just let go and let whatever needed to come out. And one of the things that I found was that one of the subconscious reasons why I keep extra weight on my body is because I'm afraid I'll be sexually assaulted, which obviously is a story a child made up, right? Because as an adult, I would want to be healthy and fit enough to defend myself. But do you get into that kind of thing with your clients? Is that what you mean by thoughts and beliefs around foods and stuff like that?
Yes, absolutely. Because there is typically an underlying reason that somebody is possibly holding that extra weight. So like you, for protection. For others, maybe they're, and I don't even want to just focus on weight, but it allows them to continue to yo-yo diet, which is really what it is. Because, for example, if somebody, was told as a young girl, you would look so beautiful. You have such a pretty face. If only you would lose weight. Or they were told, you'll never be able to accomplish anything that you set your mind to. I don't know, there are so many stories really of things I'm thinking now of somebody who said, her father would call her thunder thighs, something like that. So these are the messages. Like if you're told that you look a certain way, that you are a certain way, well, as a kid, you're going to believe that because you're repeating that over and over and over again in your head, right? You're repeating what you hear. With the repetition, it becomes your belief. And listen, when you're a kid, you believe what an adult says to you because you don't know any other, right? And so what we need to do in the work that I do with my clients is to start with what were some of those messages you received? What were some of those negative messages you received? What beliefs were created from them? And now holding that belief, what has it allowed you to do over all these years? Perhaps it's allowed them to yo-yo diet. Perhaps it's allowed them to self-sabotage themselves in some way. So we really need to start with the negative message, the belief that it created that's continuing to limit them. Perhaps we have to then identify who in your life was present at the time or who was involved in you creating this limiting belief. And maybe we even have to do some forgiveness work around that. And then we really reframe that into a more realistic belief that, again, it's about rewiring the neural pathways in the brain.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the work that we do in this very first pillar of mind trust and helping to reject the diet mentality.
And I'm just going to say that the same approach, and I'm realizing this about you now, the same approach you take to intuitive eating is the same approach that I take to finding your purpose, rebuilding your life. And so my point is that this works. So tell us a little bit more. I know you have these 3 pillars, right? So tell us more about those 3. Did we already get one?
Yeah, so mind trust is one, and that's when we do all the belief work, etc., reframing and get really true beliefs going. And we just change the messaging and you reject the diet mentality. It's really
and that works. Yeah, that's really powerful. And you cannot do that on your own, right? You cannot do that. Like nobody, like it's like a surgeon knocking himself out and saying, I'm going to give myself surgery. Like there's a reason why lawyers don't defend themselves in courts and doctors don't treat themselves or even their immediate family. You're too emotionally in the soup to see this stuff and be able to work yourself is literally impossible. It's trying to stand up without legs.
Right, but the other reason is also because the diet mentality is very sneaky. It is. Many people, even those that I'm working with and now, we have also a small group on Facebook. I have a mastery circle that we work with. It's Intuitive Eating Mastery Circle. So we're constantly supporting and practicing. But even when they say, I'm not dieting anymore. It's 5 years, I'm not dieting. But the diet mentality sneaks in ways that you may not realize.
Well, it's there. It's in the media. It's in commercialing. It's in advertisements at the bus stop, on billboards. Your kids are talking about it. Your girlfriend. I mean, you're not going to outrun this stuff. You just need to learn how to master it.
That's the culture we live in. The more that we talk about it, the hope is we change the narrative for sure. Yeah. And I think we're making some headway, but it still means that you have to always be alert to when diet mentality comes creeping in. And it's all about then just acknowledging and saying, I know that's a dieter's way of thinking. That's not me anymore. Okay, shoo, I don't need you anymore. But the more we do that and practice that, the more it happens less and less. But let's face it, it's not that easy, but it is possible. So the second pillar is hunger trust. That's where you learn to differentiate between physical hunger and emotional hunger, because a lot of times we mix those up, right? Especially if you've been dieting. You are dieting, meaning you're not listening to your own body telling you when you're physically, biologically hungry to eat. It's like, oh, the clock is 12. That's when I was told to eat. Now I'm eating, regardless of whether your body's giving you signals. So dieting silences your hunger signal. Having a chaotic life and multitasking silences your hunger signals. And, doing all the diet tricks that you were taught when you were on these diets. Well, if you're hungry, drink, have a coffee or have a diet soda or have water. It'll make the hunger go away. But in fact, it just numbs the hunger signals. It doesn't last long. And it actually silences what we call those first signs of hunger. So when you're finally hungry, you're like, oh my God, I'm ravenous. I need to eat like right now. That's how a dieter keeps themselves, either starving or over full. So the first piece of the hunger trust is coming back to, well, what does biological hunger even feel like for me? And I don't mean in the ravenous state. That very first sign of hunger, what does that even feel like? Because so many of my clients say, I just don't know. And it's so true. So it's getting that back. It's reigniting that hunger so you know what it feels like. And then it's being able to differentiate, when is it physical hunger, when is it emotional hunger, and what do I do in each of those situations? So physical hunger, I've got to honor that hunger. And part of honoring that hunger is, if you say, well, you look at your clock and you're like, oh, why am I feeling hungry? I just ate 2 hours ago. I shouldn't be hungry. That's the diet mentality sneaking back in. You have to remember that. So it's really knowing, okay, I'm hungry. This is a true hunger. I'm going to eat. Or, oh, this is an emotional hunger. What do I really need in this moment? Because it's not food. So hunger trust is being able to trust the signals that your body is giving you, trust the hunger, and know how to manage it, how to respond if it's the physical hunger or it's the emotional hunger. So that's that important piece. And then the final pillar is food trust. And I really, really enjoy this pillar because, it's where you are trusting that the decisions you're making around food are unique for you, because every person is made differently. And so by the time you get to this third pillar of really reclaiming food trust, you will have that confidence to say, okay, I'm making this and this choice for myself and my nutrition, and this feels right for me. You won't need somebody else to tell you what to do. Now, there's always what you can learn about nutrition. I'm not saying not, right? But it's it's empowering you to make those food decisions for yourself and know that that's just right for you. Which is hard because people, when they're yo-yo dieting and they're looking for that one type of eating that's going to give them what they want, they lose the trust. So many times my clients will call me and they're like, I just don't know what to eat. I don't know. I'm so overwhelmed by all the nutrition recommendations that are out there. So, by the time you get to this pillar of food trust, you have a healthy mindset. You've regained the mind trust. You've regained the hunger trust. And now you're easing into saying, okay, what from the nutrition recommendations that is out there feels right for me? We're all unique.
Yeah, I got to second that again, because I've been on this health and spirituality journey now for 20 years. And it actually started kind of like, the spiritual started somewhere else, but the food bit started with me getting a job with a bunch of vegans. And so, they were showing me the PETA videos, and I never liked meat in the first place. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm never eating meat, and I'm never eating this, and so I've been doing this now for 20 years. And it's so funny that we've got all this research, and they say that this thing is good and that thing is bad, and then it switches every year, and it's like a madhouse. And we spend all this time and energy trying to figure out get ourselves into alignment with what other people say is right for us, when really the answer has always been to come back to yourself and get to know yourself and love yourself and accept yourself as a unique individual. What works for me is not going to work for somebody else. For sure, I'm sure about that. and to
Right.
respect it. I like how you're putting the emphasis on honoring and having confidence in yourself, honoring yourself, having confidence in yourself. So where you've got this free gift. So this is where people can get more, because I'm already like, this is our second time. I know we're shooting right now, but this is our second time interviewing. Like, I'm going to hire you. I don't know if you have any space right now. I'm not trying to tell anybody else they should. I know that I need to hire you. So I'm excited to help the audience to continue to build their relationship with you and come back home to themselves and intuitive eating so that they can share that with their kids. I mean, we don't want to raise another generation of kids that are hating on themselves and restricting themselves and hurting themselves with food.
Let me just say something about that. I have so many women, mom clients who say, Bonnie, how do I teach this to my kids? And it's not just the daughters, it's the sons too, but it is also most part the daughter. I don't want them to go down the path that I have gone down. I do work with kids now, and I work with parents of younger kids. It's the worst thing is when somebody walks into my office, or I do an online session with someone, and, they say, I'm struggling for whatever, 30, 40, 50 years. But more than that, they say, I remember going to the nutritionist at 5 years old. I remember my mom taking me, and it was a terrible experience. You don't want that. You don't want that, right? I mean, it's such fulfilling work. But there's a piece of this we didn't touch on yet, and it's being happy with yourself. You said about self-love. It's a very important part of it, because most of the women who are struggling are striving to fit into a certain body shape or size that society says they are supposed to be. Yeah. And that is the problem. They're chasing this thin ideal, but everybody has a genetic blueprint of what their natural body weight will be. And there are many, many factors aside from genetics that do affect that. But if one is striving to be a size whatever, because that's what they're told they need to be, but their body can't possibly be that size. Like if you're a size 8 shoe and you see a beautiful shoe that's a 7, no matter what you do, you're not going to get your foot into that unless you damage the structure of your feet. Well, that's what women are doing when they're trying to shape and shrink their body into a number that is not genetically determined for them. It's not in their blueprint, and they're damaging and causing a lot of harm. So part of this process that I work with people through is respecting their body as it is now, and allow their body to just do what it is naturally intended to do. It's really important. We don't strive for a number on a scale. We don't strive for a size. Come back to yourself, trusting, like I said, your whole body, mind, hunger, food, your decisions, and learn how to really understand that chasing an unrealistic or a fantasy weight or size is quite damaging on many levels.
I'm glad that you took the time to point that out.
Yeah.
I still see myself doing that in yoga class. Like look, that's the way I should be. That's the way the shape should be. That's the way my body should look in that pose. Like, you're right. This mindset is just everywhere. And it just shows up all day long, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're having this issue and you're using these, how other people are going to see me and what they're going to think about me and what I should and shouldn't be, to some extent, you're doing that in every area of your life, in your relationships, in your business, in your career as well. And so food is just something you can start with that's very practical, right? Because you're getting into your body. I love this. Is there anything else that you want to share with the viewers during our talk today, or should we talk about your free gift?
I truly have so much I could say, but I don't want to overwhelm anybody. I think, I think we shared some very important points and things for people to stop and pause, give pause and think about. But I guess the final word before we talk about the gift is that diets don't work. And as hard as it is to possibly, as you think it's so hard to stop, it is so crucial for you to really start to believe in yourself. And, you know, with the help and the support, you can absolutely, as we say, break the spell that diets have. And that is part of my free gift, because it really is a spell. Diets, you know, and so many people know they don't work, but they're going back because they just don't know what else to do, right? So I do have a free 3-day online experience that I want to offer your audience. So it's called Break the Spell of Diets in 3 days. And it will help you really come to a place of recognizing the damage that dieting has caused you over the years, help you to come to a place of realizing that the trust that you've had in your body, which was at the highest level when you were born, how it got distorted over the years. But then, of course, I give you a taste of body trust. So, you know, it's a great 3-day process that I believe you will enjoy. So
that's amazing. I want to taste body trust. And I'm sure all of you do too. So you just go ahead, click the link, enter your name and your email address, and Bonnie will send all the access details straight away to your inbox. Bonnie, thank you so much. I mean, I'm so grateful for this refresher. Yes. And I'm so excited to talk to you after we're done here. And I'm so excited that you were able to take part and to share this. I think it's vital, right? Because if we're at war with our bodies, then we're causing stress, and stress causes inflammation, and inflammation causes disease. And so even if you get yourself into that size 0 or 2 that everybody's saying that you should have, what are you going to have to deal with later on in life? Cancer, heart disease, because your body's not being taken care of the whole thing, like Bonnie talked about today. So definitely, whether you're going to take the 3-day experience or not, grab the free gift now while it's here. Let Bonnie continue to nourish you and bring you back home to your real self, and have more fun with eating and with your body instead of torturing yourself all day.
100%. Well said. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any parting words?
Everybody, you can regain whole body trust. It all starts with just taking a leap of faith. I believe in you, and I want you to believe in yourself.
That's awesome. Thanks again. Make sure you click the link, grab Bonnie's gift, and I'll see you all again tomorrow with another round of interviews. Bye.